Hey everyone, in this video we take on a trail called 21 Road. The trail follows a riverbed up Hunter Canyon near Fruita, Colorado. As with all riverbed trails, there are lots of big rocks and tight turns. Today we have two friends with us. That's Tyler driving the Suzuki. That thing has a ton of work done to it, including an upgraded transfer case with very low gearing. As you can see, it has a lift and 31-inch tires as well. I love watching those little Suzukis on the trail. They are so light and narrow they just bounce over everything. My TJ has a 3.5-inch metal cloak lift with Rocksport shocks up front and Bilsteins in the rear. I have to use my lockers a few times in the video when taking more difficult lines over the obstacles. The recent upgrade to 488 gears in the diffs drastically improved my crawl ratio, which has proven to make my Jeep more capable and easier to control when going slow and crawling on the rocks. That's Steven with the full-size Chevy pickup. That thing is very fun to watch off-road. It's wide and long, which makes the trail feel tiny. It's rocking open diffs right now and has 35-inch tires. Another friend joins us later in his two-door side-by-side. The trail starts off as a dirt road that leads into the canyon. Once you reach the riverbed, you have two choices. You can take the dirt road pretty far up the trail if you just want to do the more difficult stuff near the end, or you can join the riverbed near the beginning, and the fun begins immediately. Dried riverbeds are one of my favorite types of terrain to crawl on. The obstacles are frequent, so it doesn't get boring, and because there are several medium and hard obstacles, you still get the action when you need a spotter or maybe have to take more than one try to make it up. It is very hard to tell how large an obstacle is or ledge is when looking through a camera. Even this obstacle, which looks like you could drive any old Subaru up and over with ease, is actually pretty tall, and most vehicles would lose a bumper cover or more just getting the front tires up onto it. Large 35-inch tires make it easy for Steven and I, but we will get our challenges later on. "21 Road offers a lot of fun squeeze spots where a pinch point makes a turn more difficult than just turning. My TJ just barely fits through some, so naturally Steven had to back up a couple of times on those. A lot of these rocks look much smaller on camera. You may be thinking, okay, I can take my stock crossover through that, but keep in mind the lower portion of my tire is 10 inches of rubber before the wheel starts. Most vehicles have less than that at their highest point under the body and just a few inches of tire before the wheel starts. The trail is probably a 5 out of 10 for the lower portions and a 7 out of 10 for the upper half. The very top is buggy only territory with some huge boulders.
So this is our first time on 21 Road, and Tyler did tell us that it's cool because you're kind of in the middle of the mountains, and it is very cool. I didn't think that we would be this close to just the wall of the mountains on both sides. So it's kind of neat. I love seeing all the views when we usually go out, you know, all the big overlooks, but it's almost just as cool being tucked in here in the valley. Oh, is that what I call this?
This is a fun optional obstacle near the beginning. I took a harder line, but flexing my front tire up was no problem. Once on that rock on the left, the rest of the Jeep just crawls right up. You can see just how tall the ledge is when Tyler jumps down into the hole in just a moment. Steven takes a go at the same obstacle. His length is not helping him here. I was able to turn much tighter to get a better line.
Oh, he's so close.
He wasn't feeling any body damage today, so he backs off and just takes the bypass. There is always next time. Here's one of those squeeze spots. They look so narrow from the driver's seat. That truck has inches on each side. As usual, there is a lot of BSing going on the trail.
We are at a kind of larger obstacle, I guess. They said it's mostly an obstacle because of wheelbase, and all three of us remaining are short wheelbases. So, should be piece of cake. Steven with the truck had to leave. He had to head out at like 10 or something, and I think it's right around that time. So, we have just got the Suzuki, the Jeep, and the side-by-side, and Kevin's calling me to go get this.
Tyler takes a very good line over this. He makes it look easy. Way to go, Tyler. Okay, now I'll have a go. You can see how huge that rock is on the left as I scrape my rock slider across it. That's okay, I have replaced them with a larger set since this filming. And of course the side-by-side just hops right up it. Those things are ridiculous. We are checking out a more difficult ledge that we all decide against. Sometimes it's better to just make it home than it is to stroke your ego. This is another obstacle that doesn't look like much, but my wide Jeep can't just go in between those rocks, so I have to flex over it.
That's wild. Oh, and there's water. Wow! Wow! Water! It's a river.
Higher up on the trail, there is actually water in the creek. Very cool to see that in August. This spot has a bunch of tadpoles. They thrive off the minerals in the water. You can see the white deposits at the water's edge. Further along the trail, things really look amazing. The shade from the canyon walls is very welcome, and the greenery from the water really adds to the experience. We drive through a really neat cave-like wash that is really interesting. Here is another squeeze spot. When my Jeep shifts and that rock tip goes into my rear wheel, I really thought it was going to bust my valve stem. That's why I always bring my recovery gear. Pop in a Colby valve, air up, and keep on wheeling.
This cave, alcove, whatever you want to call it, is very cool. I don't know if you can see how big it is, but we are just right in a big cut out of the rock. And I'm sure it was not really cut out of the rock, but eroded by the tiny river that's running through it.
This is another squeeze spot that is fairly new. Rocks falling off the cave ceiling has made this spot a bit of a challenge. My rear tire just barely scrapes by the rock. Yet another obstacle with a bit of a squeeze. That rock on the left juts out just enough to gouge a body panel or break a window. Tyler's narrow Suzuki makes light work of it. My TJ feels so huge right here. I was so focused on not hitting my rear where Seth is that I took kind of a weird line and dragged my belly over that rock. Next time I will take a better line. Tyler is trying a very tippy optional obstacle. His carburetor was giving him some trouble, so he had to back off and go around. About this time we stop for lunch and head back down. We cannot continue into the boulder field. The drops would swallow our rigs. Maybe someday. This time lapse is being played back at times 10,000.
I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich. Think too much and feel too little.
We stopped once because we spot this really awesome lizard that had so many colors. This is also when I noticed that I bashed my steering on that rock where I dragged my belly just a bit ago. I ended up replacing the tie rod. I will be upgrading my steering in the near future.
So that wraps up another awesome trail day. We met out here probably at 7:30-ish. We were in this location, airing down. All I can say is 21 Road is my new favorite trail. Counting trails in Moab, everywhere I went in Utah, this is my favorite. You just saw. Perfect mix of dirt road, obstacles, rocky. There's bypasses if you're not feeling it. I can't wait to come down here with Grand Mesa Jeep Club and see some of the people that have bigger tires and buggies go on some of the obstacles that we couldn't do.
We all made it back down in one piece, and we will see you at our next trail day. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.